All right, cryptocurrency mining. So this we talk about it in the last video where I talk about kind of my transition from stocks to cryptocurrencies. Not like long term, just I had to have something to trade during the school year because you can't trade stocks, you can't trade the opening bell during a second period, right? So working around 24-hour markets. I'm into computers, right? So I learned about cryptocurrencies through computers because I'm looking at computer hardware. And you just start to, at least mostly through that. So you see all these people, and they're all talking about using computers for mining. So, I do a lot of research into it, and essentially all they're doing, right, is you're running the consensus algorithms that make all these cryptocurrencies work. See the last video if that doesn't make sense, but the point is you have a computer and you set up a software on it or a mining script on it, and the script loads the network for whatever cryptocurrency you mine. And by mine, what you're really doing is hashing into the algorithm for the currency, right? And hashing is just another way of saying doing computational work. So you'll have a network and they'll have people, everyone sending in transactions to the overall network, and the network gets distributed across a decentralized system of nodes or other computers that are just running the cryptocurrency, the same mining script that the computer I built ran, right? So you'd have thousands and thousands of these computers all mining or providing computational power to prove through a cost electricity, right? You have to use electricity to run the computer. So the point is you have all of these unique nodes contributing to the network so that they can maintain a true and accurate ledger, so everyone's got the right amount of money and no one spends money twice, right? So the idea is someone would have to overtake 51% of the network, or they'd have to have a 51% attack to overcome the network and spend money twice and alter the balances in anyone's wallet, right? So since it's so spread out and it costs money, right? So you have to have the computing power to overcome 51% of the network's computing power, which is just massive, right? And that's measured in the hashing power, or the computational equivalent of how the computers run. So, stronger, faster computers are going to hash more than slower computers, right? And equivalently, they're going to be paid more cryptocurrency for their hashing work. So the network will, people pay fees to send their cryptocurrencies, and usually these are very, very small fees compared to traditional currency trading or exchange clearing, since it's on a decentralized network. And the network will, most of the time they give out new coins, right? So if people mine Bitcoin, people will pay to have their Bitcoin processed, and the Bitcoin network will issue new Bitcoins every block in a blockchain, which is generated by the miners. So the miners have computers and they just solve random math problems. That's what the hashing is, right? They're just filling an algorithm with random numbers. And the point is that it takes a very fast computer to do this because there's just so many possible answers in this random hashing proof of work sequence that it just keeps going over and over and over, right? Like it's mining the network with just random numbers and data scripts, and the computer does it for you through the mining scripts for the cryptocurrency network. So the job of the computer is to do the work that validates the network, that validates the transactions, that validates history, that validates really the entire basis of the network, which is the value of every Bitcoin, every coin, any coin for any network. That's the point of a proof of work consensus model, and that's how it's really kind of like spreading out a decentralized cryptographically encoded ledger, and that ledger really is the whole network, since that's what you're maintaining, and that's the actual balance record. Like just like a central bank would have a central ledger, a cryptocurrency has a decentralized cryptographic hash triple entry accounting ledger instead of a double entry traditional accounting system. And if that doesn't make sense, and if you want to learn more about cryptocurrencies, check out the video series I do here on blockchain. I think triple entry accounting specifically was covered extremely well in Truth Machine. Truth Machine, I did a video on that. Great book, and it really covers how this stuff works. So I made the decision to invest, like $4 grand into a mining rig. We talk about, the diversification of it in the other video on getting into crypto. Point is that I didn't want it to just be like I buy one miner and that's my mining portfolio, right? Just like everything I do, I try to diversify. So risks, because the way it works, right, is there are like hundreds of these, well, there's two sectors, right? So there's graphics cards, and there's application-specific integrated circuits. They're called ASICs. The point is the ASICs, all they do is mine cryptocurrency. All they do is mine one cryptocurrency, usually. And on the other side of the spectrum, graphics cards are applicable in compute-based applications in science. People use them for gaming, overall workspace rendering, computer graphics, really anything a computer needs graphical power, real processing power for, that's where you're going to use a graphics card. So it has a much more widespread use. And graphics cards, all they are, they're just these little bricks about yay big. And if you've ever built a computer or looked at a computer, it sticks out of the motherboard, sticks right in the middle, and that's the thing where your video is going to come out if you don't have video from your CPU on board, right? If you have external video, and that's usually what you're going to have when you have really any graphics intensive process where you need speed out of your computer. That's where the graphics card comes in. So the graphics card can run the mining algorithms, and similarly the ASICs, or the big machines that are just designed for cryptocurrency mining, can run the same algorithms. Now, without getting into too much, ASIC versus graphics card, there's also FGPA cards that are in the middle, so they're kind of like graphics cards, they're kind of like ASICs. They're designed for cryptocurrency mining, but they're also kind of balanced around a couple different coins, so they're not just for one thing. The point is, there's something called network difficulty, and that just kind of dictates how hard it is for any single person, any user, to really dig deep and actually, mine cryptocurrency from the network, sort of extracting money from the system. So in any given scenario, you'll have, different amounts of USD payout for different things. So you might have one graphics card that makes $4 a day, or you might have like an ASIC that makes $40 a day. And it all depends on the market prices of the cryptocurrency and the difficulty of the network, both of which are based on, well, the market price is obviously just public perception, but the difficulty is based on systematic algorithms that actually determine how difficult is it going to be to mine this cryptocurrency. So the point with that is the difficulty essentially for all cryptocurrencies only really goes up, but the price obviously goes up and down. It can fluctuate, no big deal, that's how it works. So you get to a point where the mining, the profits are based on how difficult it is to mine and how much the coin costs, right? So whatever you're mining, however much that cryptocurrency costs. So that's where you're gonna start to have like differing profits for each graphics card that you're mining with, or each ASIC. So at the time, it's just like ASICs. The thing with them is, especially when markets move quickly and difficulty changes very quickly, you can have ASIC machines where they'll make money for like 8 months, and then all of a sudden a new one comes out, and the new one is like 10 times more efficient, and all of a sudden the difficulty goes up a lot because everyone gets the new machine. So all the old ones make far less money, and sometimes you can even lose money because you are paying electricity to actually run all of your mining equipment. So with graphics cards, it's a little different because with most of the cryptocurrencies that are designed for graphics cards, the consensus mechanisms, the consensus algorithms are designed primarily for being run on a consumer SKU graphics card, they're going to be much more stable in the long term, because instead of having a very short period of very high profits, you're going to have a much longer lifespan with, middle of the road profits, right? So it's definitely more stable in the outlook, and it's also very adaptable because you can run it across multiple cryptocurrencies, basically all of them, right? So if mining on one network is not as profitable, you can switch in between the different cryptocurrencies. Unlike with an ASIC, you're just stuck with the one that you buy it for. So from a diversification standpoint, and from a, how do we want to really promote long-term growth here with strong diversification, especially in the mining space specifically, there's a very big decision to make between, do you buy the mining equipment or do you buy the cryptocurrency, right? So if I was going to buy an ASIC for Bitcoin, should I buy that or should I just buy Bitcoin? And then you're really looking at a time frame of how long is it going to take this cryptocurrency network to pay me back whatever the initial investment to buy that mining equipment is, versus just buying it and holding the cryptocurrency as an investment. So it's a difference in that there's work involved in setting up and configuring. Got to pay for electricity, really got to maintain the mining to an extent. Obviously, once it starts to work, the work disappears because it just does its thing. But at the same time, there's with an investment, all you got to do, this is like my whole background, right? With investments, especially long-term investments, you just buy it and you just shut up. That's it, pretty much. You can swing trade it, and that's a different realm of it. But like we talked about in the other video, you're just going to have much more success swing trading more active, more volatile picks. So the point with that is, as you get into mining, it's really more about a long-term game. So when I started looking at it, and I decided I was going to do it, we went towards graphics cards because they're more stable and you can diversify across different graphics cards that can all contribute to the same overall network with diversified long-term growth, instead of just having these single ASIC computers where they would only maybe do like one algorithm. So you get stronger diversification and better long-term outlooks with graphics cards. So yeah, that was the point with that. That was a big separation and distinction. And from an investment standpoint, it's very interesting because you're essentially just investing in computer hardware. And the whole point of it is that these cryptocurrency networks, these blockchain networks, are actually going to pay you to have the computer running for them. So it's a very new kind of investing and a very, strong long-term gains to be made in the space. Again, like I talked about, profitability fluctuates. There were points in time, last year, where you would have something called a GTX 1080 Ti. That's just a graphics card. It's a very, probably like top of the line. It was top of the line graphics card. So you would have an initial investment of, a year ago, $650. For the price inflation that I talk about in that video about where I lost 100 grand. So the point is, like, you pay about $650, and they were making like 10, 15 bucks a day I think at peaks. So it was like just a phenomenal investment where you had people building these mining rigs, and you'd pay recover your initial investment in like 3 months. And obviously from an ROI standpoint, just insane growth. And it really does show, like I talk about all the insane growth that was in the market space at this time period in my video about swing trading cryptocurrencies. And it was just insane, right? And you could have people, you buy, you invest, and your rig pays itself off. You sell everything in crypto, or you hold the crypto. And then you get into the question of, am I holding it long term? Am I trying to sell it to build a new one? And then you have double what you had originally. So it really compounds quickly, and it shows the power of compound growth. So If you guys want to get an understanding, get a really good grasp on what mining actually looked like for me, check out the next video I'm going to make. I'm going to go through my mining rig as it stands today, what went good, what went well with it, what went wrong with it, what really kind of like how I grew with it. It took, I'd say 5-6 months to really get the thing going, just because there was a lot to really get through, and it was a very unique scenario that I invested into. My background, my investing background wasn't in computers, and in the short term, if you watch the 100 grand video, obviously it didn't turn out well, at all. But I think, this whole experience of growing with cryptocurrencies has been a very great long-term growth aspect and educational foundation in my investing experience, and I think it'll serve as a strong long-term investment as cryptocurrency markets grow, as market adoption increases and blockchain technologies really go mainstream. So very applicable and fundamental, aspect of what I think will be part of my overall portfolio for the coming decades. It's just a great sector where you can have consistent income, sort of like real estate, but just with much less work, much less hassle, because really you just set it up and you're done with it, right? You don't have to worry about fixing or managing a property or anything. Like, it's there, and you can work the same tax benefits with appreciation. It's great stuff. So check out that video. I look forward to seeing you guys there. Thank you. Bye-bye.